Now then guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. As today we build AS Roma. Now Jose Mourinho, he is gone and I am the man in charge. Obviously they've just recently lost out on penalties to Sevilla and I think I can do better. I genuinely do. I think the team that Roma has got at their disposal is easily good enough for a Champions League place finish and realistically being able to win that Europa League trophy. Surely, you know, the team that they have got at their disposal, Tammy Abraham leading the line up front with Dybala in there as well. And I could list off a whole host of players which realistically should be good enough for them to at least be challenging for the Serie A title and to be winning that Europa League crown. I may eat my words. I've got 3 seasons to rebuild the club and hopefully win an obscene amount of silverware again. I may eat my words. We may come away from this in 3 seasons with winning nothing. I'd be surprised if I kept my job if that was the case. So yes, if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. But let's get into rebuilding Roma. Right then guys, so here we are at the club info screen, and as you can see the key player at the club is Paulo Dybala. What a player this guy is, an elite forward. You can see there, his technical attributes are incredible, and he was basically given away, like I say, a free transfer after leaving Juve. He scored 10 goals last season in 29 appearances. And they're absolutely mugs for not trying to get some money in for him earlier on, and yeah, their loss is our gain. When we look at the club info screen, it's not been a great last 5-6 seasons for them, as when they finished in second place in 2017, yeah, it's not been great since then. They've not won the league in the last 20 years. Plenty of second place finishes, but last season ended up finishing in 6th place. The last one, Serie A in 2001, the Europa League in 1961, the Italian Cup in 2008, and the Italian Super Cup in 2007. So there's plenty of scope here for us to start adding trophies to that trophy cabinet. When we look at the finances of the club, they've currently got £24 million in the overall balance. The transfer budget is £12.6 million. However, I am getting 100% of transfer revenue being made available, so that is the big thing for me. The wage budget is £1.7 million, and we're currently spending up to that, so we've got nothing left in the wage budget. And when we look at the debt and loans, the net debt is £192 million. The transfer debt is £16.9 million. That is £16.9 million that we still owe to clubs. Competitions-wise, we've got Serie A, the Italian Cup, and the Europa League. Looking forward to taking it on in the Europa League. The board expectation is to reach the quarterfinals. And while we're talking about the board, when we look at the club vision for this season, they expect us to reach the latter stages of the Europa League, to qualify for the Champions League. I think that's the way to go, and to challenge for the Italian Cup. What about the supporters though? So the supporters, they expect us to finish above Lazio and to qualify for the Europa League. So a little bit of a difference in opinion there and expectation, as the board want us to get into the Champions League. The fans would like to see at least some European football, but they want the Europa League as a bare minimum. So looking at how I get into the Champions League, then all I need is a top 4 finish. That 4th place finish though depends on the winner of the Europa League. So, you know, heaven forbid somebody else in Italy wins it, but the plan is for us to win it anyway. Ideally, I would just like to qualify for the Champions League without getting it through the Europa League. But top 3 this moment in time guarantees us a Champions League place. The 4th place dependent on the Europa League winner. So looking at the squad then, is this squad good enough to get us in to that Champions League place and challenge for the Serie A? I think it is. The best player at the club apparently is Tammy Abraham, who's valued up to £45 million. Current ability is 3.5 star, potential ability 4 star. We have got players like Nikola Zalewski, who is a 5-star player potentially if we can develop him fully. But yeah, Tammy Abraham is the main man up front. Valued up to £45 million, 11 casts with 3 goals for England, and he scored 17 times in 37 games last season. So yeah, definitely the man to lead the line. And then when we look at the ice earner, obviously Paulo Dybala getting 140k per week, Lorenzo Pellegrini getting 125k a week. This is the man that's going to pull the strings in the midfield, and again, technical attributes incredible. So how do these players fit into my 11 then? So looking at the tactic, we're going to play a 4-3-3. It's my safest option when I start a rebuild. It's the way I want to go. We're going to play a tick-attacker on a positive mentality, and my best 11 as it stands is Patrizio in goal, Spinazzola, Ibanez, Mancini, and Karsdorp at the back. We'd Wijnaldum in the holding role, Cristante and Pellegrini in the middle, El Shaarawy and Dybala out wide with Abraham up front. There is plenty of talent on the bench as well, with the likes of Andrea Bellotti, a man I've bought in several rebuilds, who usually leaves on a free after 12 months, is a deputy to Tammy Abraham, and I would expect some goals out of him as well, as he joined us on a free transfer, bizarrely on a 12-month contract. So what about the development squad then, the talent we've got in the under-20? So the best player in that squad is Giacomo Faticante, who looks pretty decent in fairness. 17-year-old Italian who wants to play at the base of my midfield three, and we've got a position available for him. But at 17-year-old, I don't think we'll see too much of him in this rebuild. And then finally looking at the squad dynamics, so team cohesion's poor, club atmosphere is very good, and that managerial support is average. And when we look at the top influencers, I've got one player that opposes me straight away. A. Korik is not a fan at all, 25-year-old Croat. Unhappy that his agreed playing time has been changed from being a star player. Doesn't really look like a star player, does he? A 25-year-old. He's only valued between 160k to 650. I'd be surprised if he's still here come the end of next season. But other than the one player opposing us, I've got no players to support us. 25 players have no real opinion of us. So what we're going to do is we are going to move forward to the start of Season 1, get through that transfer window, where I may not actually bring any players in. I think we've got a good enough squad, but there may be just that odd player that catches my eye. Right then guys, so the start of Season 1, and I stand by my decision to say that I think this team is good enough to challenge for Serie A and to be winning that Europa League trophy. So I haven't brought anybody in, everything remains the same when we look at the finances. 12.9 million in the transfer budget, wage budget hasn't even moved, overall balance £25 million, debt and loans £190 million. So nothing financially has really happened. I didn't have the money to really bring in that next level player, so I'm not going to spend money for the sake of it. Competitions wise haven't changed. Serie A, Italian Cup, Europa League. Obviously those group stages not being drawn to the 8th of September. We don't enter into the Italian Cup until the 3rd round. So in the Serie A, what is the expectation this season then? So from the season preview, we're expected a 5th place finish, which wouldn't be enough to get us into the Champions League. We've got no players in that Media Dream 11. And Inter Milan are favourites to win the league this season. And looking at the tactics, I haven't changed any of it. We're still going to play a 4-3-3. We're going to play a tick-attack, and we're going to play a positive mentality with Patricio in goal, Spinazzola, Ibanez, Mancini, and Cardo up at the back, with Wijnaldum at the bottom of my three, Cristante and Pellegrini in the midfield, Al Shahari and Dybala out wide, and then Tammy Abraham up front. And then looking at the schedule, we start off with games against Salernitana, Atalanta, Lazio, Juventus and Verona as my first 5 games. And Juventus being the challenge out of those first 5 teams. And I don't mean any disrespect to Atalanta, they have got some quality players, and Lazio as well, but I would like to be getting a maximum of 9 points out of those first 5 games. So yes, what we're going to do is we're going to move forward to the end of Season 1, where hopefully we've got that Europa League trophy, and we've challenged for the Serie A title. If not challenged, at least in the top 4. Right then guys, so Season 1 is down and we have won the league, as you can see there. 85 points on the board. 3 points clear of Atalanta, who finished in 2nd place. Fair play to them. AC Milan in 3rd and Napoli in 4th. Inter Milan down in 5th place is a little bit of a shambles for them. And Juve down in 10th, obviously after the points deduction. When we look at the league table in more detail, 38 games played, 26 wins, 7 draws, 5 defeats, 79 goals scored, which looks like the highest. 30 conceded, which actually looks like it's the best on joint with Atalanta. Plus 49 goal difference, 85 points on the board. We won 5 out of our last 5 games. When we look at the past positions, we went as low as 5th place with a 1-0 defeat to Inter Milan, but we have been up in top spot since match day 28, dropping down into 2nd on match day 32, but then we've moved back up match day 33 and we've never looked back. So looking at the competitions, and we didn't actually win the Europa League. We were knocked out in the quarter-final by Real Betis on penalties. So here's me saying that we should absolutely waltz through the Europa League and win it, and we get knocked out by Real Betis. So not ideal there, we don't win that one. But we do win the Coppa Italia with a 3-2 victory in extra time against AC Milan, with a goal from Ola Solbakken and Selic with the ball in. It's the keeper makes a bit of a mess of it, Ryan in goal, but Solbakken gets us the win. It was deserved. 28 shots, 14 on target, 60% possession. You know, I think it's a travesty that it actually went to extra time, but he gets us the win anyway on 93 minutes. So after winning a domestic double, what does that do to the finances? Well, not a lot. We get 14.5 million to spend in this transfer window. The overall balance is 11.7 million, and that wage budget is £2 million. So we've got 400k more or less to play with there. Debt and loans is 190 million pounds, and transfer debt is 12 million. And then looking at the player stats, Tammy Abraham got 45 goals this season. What does that mean? It means he's a top goal scorer by 7 goals ahead of Victor Osimhen and Duvan Zapata, who both got 27 goals. Immobile only getting 21, not ideal from him, and Giroud as well, 21 goals. Abraham also had the ice average rating at 7.6. Dybala had the most assists at 20. Best pass completion was Ibanez with 92%. Most player of the match awards was Tammy Abraham with 14. Most yellow cards was Karsdorp with 16. And he also got 1 red card. And then when we look at the team stats, wise, he's got 79 goals, which is the best. Conceded 30, which is the best. So no surprise that we finish in top spot. 79 yellow cards, which is the 7th worst. And 1 red card, which is the 3rd best. Now, average attendance was the 2nd highest in Serie A at 62,000. So there we go. go then, guys. You know, just looking at it tactically, where do I need to improve? Ideally, I'd like to bring in a better hold midfielder. Cristante can maybe then move forward into the midfield. Matic is getting on a little bit. I'm happy with my front three. I might need to add a little bit of depth in there. At the back, I would say I'm fairly happy. Spinazzola's getting on a bit, but that back four is a solid starting back four. And then Patricio, I reckon, has got another year in him. When does his contract expire? So it expires next year. He's 35-year-old, definitely going to get another season out of him. So I might just go and spend that £15 million on a holding midfielder. I think that's the way to go. So yeah, what we're going to do then is we're going to move forward to the start of Season 2. Well, hopefully I've managed to bring in that player that's just going to take us to the next level as we have Champions League football coming to the Olimpico next season. Right, guys, so before the break, I said I wanted a hold midfielder. Did I get one? Did I, Bob, get a hold midfielder? As there was no real talent out there and nobody that I thought was going to improve the squad. So I have spent some money. We've got 3.9 million left in the transfer budget. The wage budget is 1.9 million, just under £2 million. Overall balance, £34 million. Debt and loans wise, down to 165 million net debt. Transfer debt is £11 million. So the first player leaving us then is Justin Kluivert. Now, he has stayed at Valencia. He was actually there on loan last season, where he played 27 times, scoring 4 goals with 2 assists, and we let him go for £8 million. That was a clause within his loan agreement, and I just thought £8 million. He didn't play for us last season. We won the Serie A without him, so no harm in letting him go. Gonzalo Villa, another player that was out on loan last season. He was actually at Getafe, where he played 13 times with 1 assist in La Liga. We've let him go off to Dynamo Moscow in Russia for £1.3 million. Matthias Vinner, another player that was out on loan, has gone off to Scotland to play for Celtic. Now he has joined for £4 million after we took him on 2 seasons ago for £11.25 million. He actually played 26 times for us in his first season before we let him go to Bournemouth, where he played 33 times in the Premier League. But yeah, £4 million off to Celtic. Again, he wasn't with us last season, so let's just move him on. And then Carlos Perez has stayed in Serie A and he's gone to Sassuolo for £2.5 million. Another player that we spent serious money on, £9 million, was out on loan at Vigo last season, where he played 19 times, 1 goal, 2 assists. Again, was out on loan, so we didn't really need him. So joining us then, the first player through the door is an elite centre-back, Milan Skriniar, who we've brought in on a free transfer from Inter Milan. So he's got plenty of Serie A game time, playing 36 times last season, 1 goal, 2 assists, a 7.07 rating. Like I say, an elite centre-back, head and mark and tackling, 16, 18, 17, that's strength 18. This guy's world class and very happy to get him into the team. And then an elite winger joins us, the 26-year-old Brazilian with 7 caps and 1 goal, David Neres joins us. So that acceleration 16, pace 14, dribbling 18, and first touch 16. I'm expecting plenty of out of him. You can play at left and right. But, you know, he may not be a starter straight away. We've got to like ease him into the team. Obviously, we've got Dybala who can play out on that side as well. But we brought him in for £27 million. Had a decent rise after Shakhtar took him on for £10.25 million. Then Benfica for 13.25, and they've basically doubled the money, and we've taken him for 27 million. But he did actually play 32 times in the Portuguese Premier League last season, with 7 goals, 6 assists, 4 player of the match performances. So tactically then, this is how we're going to line up with Patricio in goal, Spinazzola, Ibanez, Skriniar and Karsdorp at the back, Cristante, Matic and Pellegrini in the middle, Zalewski and Dybala out wide, then Abraham up front. We're still going to play a tiki-taka and we're still going to play a positive mentality. It did us well last season, let's just stick with it. So competitions wise then, we've got the Serie A, the Champions League, the Coppa Italia and the Italian Super Cup, where we take on AC Milan in the final. And then the Serie A, let's have a quick look at that one. So the season preview, we're expected a 4th place finish, and we've got 2 players in the media dream 11, that's Skriniar and Dybala. Diego Simeone now in charge at Inter Milan. Alessandro Nesta in charge at Lazio. Claudio Ranieri in charge at Cagliari as well. So there's lots going on, been plenty of movement. But yeah, 2 players in the Major Dream 11 and a top 4 finish. I'm quite surprised that we weren't higher than that, considering we won the league last season. However, you know, that's higher than we were expected last season. And then finally, looking at the schedule, we start off with games against Cagliari, Atalanta, Lazio, AC Milan and Ternana. So there you go then, guys. Plenty to get our teeth into this season. Only 2 players joining us, 1 on a free transfer, 1 for £27 million. I still think we've improved the squad. Disappointingly, we didn't get a hold midfielder. However, I think we've got enough about us to challenge for that Serie A title yet again. So what we're going to do is we're going to move forward to the end of Season 2, where hopefully we've done that. Right then, guys, so it's the end of Season 2 and we retain the Serie A title, as you can see there, by 1 point, just pipping Atalanta. And it looks like on the last game of the season, as you can see, our little green arrow pointing that we've just about made it. 82 points on the board. And when we look at the league table in more detail, 38 games played, 25 wins, 7 draws, 60 defeats, 73 goals scored, 27 conceded. However, Napoli only conceding 25, plus 46 goal difference, 82 points on the board. That's a better tally than last season. It's not. We're actually 3 points worse than last season when we finished on 85 points. Atalanta unlucky, like I say, on 81, drawing that final game of the season. We drew 2 out of our last 5 as well. But Inter Milan finishing in 7th place, not good for them. And when we look at the past positions, obviously you can see towards the back end of the season, we got ourselves into 2nd place on match day 25 with a 4-0 victory over Torino. Then we're only top spot twice in the season. One of those was a 2-2 draw against Juve, and then winning 1-0 against Spezia on the final game of the season when Atalanta dropping down. And then Napoli in 3rd, absolutely bottled it towards the end of the season. So they were in top spot from match day 2 all the way through to match day 33. And then losing 1-0 to Atalanta, and yeah, it was game over for them. So competitions wise then, you could see we have won a domestic treble as we win the league, we win the Italian Cup. 2-1 against Juventus in extra time. Bellotti with a goal in 101 minutes. A game that we dominated. 26 shots, 10 on target. Yeah, Juventus, no match for us there. And then a 2-1 victory against AC Milan. Tammy Abraham with 2 goals. A goal in first half stoppages. And then on 80 minutes, Oliver Giroud with a goal on 43. A fairly even game this one. But again, we get the win. And then in the Champions League, we are absolutely battered by PSG. 6-1 away from home. We were beaten 4-0 at home as we lose 10-1 on aggregate. Not ideal, as Mbappe gets 4 goals there as well. He had 9 shots on target, scoring 6 of them. So competitions-wise, we've done all right there. And financially, we've only been given £44 million. I was expecting a little bit more of that. I was expecting a war chest this season. But £44 million, I will take it. As we've got £47 million in the overall balance. The wage budget's £2.2 million. The net debt is £138 million. Now, and transfer debt is £6.8 million. And then looking at the player stats, Tammy Abraham scored 41 goals. Is that the best in the league again? When we have a look, it is. He scores 30 goals this season. 2 more goals than Immobile and Vlahovic on 28 apiece. Abraham also had the highest average rating at 7.44. Lorenzo Pellegrini had the most assists with 19. Best pass completion was Mancini with 92%. Abraham had 13 Player of the Match awards, which was the highest. 16 yellow cards for Skriniar and 2 red cards for Zalewski. And then when we look at the team stats, the team stats wise, 73 goals scored, which is the second best. 27 conceded, which is the second best. Yellow cards wise, we got 90, which is the 5th worst. 3 red cards, which is the 3rd worst. And our average attendance was over 60,000 again, which was the second best. So there we go then, guys. Season 2, a domestic treble this time round. You know, that Champions League, we were absolutely battered by PSG. But overall, very happy with that season. So season 3, can we do more in Europe? Right, so season 3 then, guys, and it's been a good summer. This transfer window has been incredible for me, as when you look at the finances, we've still got 3.2 million left in the transfer budget. The wage budget is 2.3 million. We are slightly spending over that. I've still got one more deal, well, one more player to leave that I just need to get them over the line. Overall balance is £43 million. Debt and loans wise, net debt is 136 million. Transfer debt is 3.4 million. And plenty of players have left, like I say. So Rui Patricio has gone off to Benfica. He left on a free transfer. Now 36-year-old. Played 38 times this last season. 27 conceded. 16 clean sheets. A solid goalkeeper. But he didn't want to stay anyway. He didn't want to renew his contract. So he's left on a free. Zeki Celik has gone off to Shakhtar Donetsk. Played 28 times his last season. The offer, £10 million, will rise up to £13 million. I just brought in a better option out on that left-hand side. So yeah, Celik's gone. Ola Bakken has stayed in Sarriani and he's gone to Atalanta, and he left for £16 million after we brought him in on a free transfer. He played 20 times his last season, 1 goal, 4 assists. Decent player, but that was some good money for him. Andrea Bellotti has also gone off to Shakhtar, and he left for a relatively good fee for us of 10.25 million. Now, he has played 1 time already in Shakhtar and scored twice, and that's double the amount of times he scored for us in the 2 seasons that I've been here. So yeah, Bellotti off to a great start. And like I say, 10.25 million. He could have stayed with us for another couple of seasons. I just didn't think it was worth it. And then Miles Weiler has gone off on loan to Atalanta as well. He wants to be first choice. I don't think that's going to be the case though with him going to Atalanta, but he's gone for 86k. We'll get him back at the end of the season. And then the final deal, like Rick Karsdorp potentially going to AC Milan for £9 million. It may happen, it may not. We've already had an offer come in from Norwich and he rejected that contract. So yeah, there's an opportunity. Karsdorp may have left us before the window closes. So joining us then, the first player through the door is a 28-year-old Portuguese international, one cap for Portugal, Daniel Podence. His media description's a winger, he's very pacey, that acceleration and pace both 16, dribbling 16, crossing 13, can play out on the left and right hand side, so he is versatile. We brought him in from a free transfer from Wolves, where he played 28 times in the Premier League last season, with 2 goals and 1 assist. Max Aarons also joins us from England, 24-year-old Englishman. Fullback, wants to play out on the right hand side, but can also play out on the left. Again, very pacey, 16 pace and acceleration, crossing 11, dribbling 15, and we brought him in for a free transfer from Norwich, where he also played 38 times in the Premier League last season. Then with Bechellii leaving, I brought in Luis Muriel. Now, yes, he is 33-year-old, but his attacking attributes are incredible, and he's happy to be back up. That is the main thing. Clearly, Tammy Abraham is the #1 player up front for us, so he's happy to sit on the bench. He's had a decent pre-season with 4 goals. We bring him in from Atalanta, where he played 10 times with 4 goals last season, and he's had 1 game for us already, but we got him in on a free transfer. Then with Miles Weiler going off to Atalanta, we brought in Martin Dubravka as the backup goalkeeper. So he's joined us for 775k from Newcastle. He hasn't played in 2 seasons. I can't imagine he's going to get too much game time for us this season, but he comes in as a backup. And then another one of my free transfers, Mathieu Morey, joins us on a free transfer again, like I've just said, from Borussia Dortmund. He actually played 13 times from Mönchengladbach last season in the Bundesliga. But yeah, been released on a free, decent player, can play out on that right hand side, but he's only joined the club as a depth option. So with Rui Patricio leaving, I needed a new #1, and I've brought in a 24-year-old Italian, Marco Conecci. So he joins us for 6.75 million from Atalanta. He only played 1 time last season, conceded 1 goal. He's already played a game for us, kept a clean sheet. Now, he had plenty of game time in Serie B and Serie A with Cremonese, where he played 31 times actually in Serie A a couple of seasons ago. 51 conceded, not great. However, like for me, quality goalkeeper. Media description is commanding goalkeeper, 6'3", those goalkeeping attributes, but across the board, his attributes are banging. Then I spent some big money on a holding midfielder. Now, I wanted to get someone in last season and there just wasn't anyone about, and I found somebody that makes us better. So Calvin Phillips has joined us, and he has joined us from Manchester City for 32.5 million. Now, he played 16 times last season for Man City, and they've let him go. Obviously, he doesn't fit into their long-term plans, and their loss is our gain. He's currently valued at £62 million, and he's an elite midfielder, so another elite player joins us. And then finally, bringing in an attacking left-back, I've brought in Destiny Udogie. Now, he's an Italian, and that's a big thing. He's got no caps for Italy yet, but I would expect he can play at left-back, acceleration and pace both 16, crossing and dribbling 13 and 14. I spent big money on him, £28 million, but he has got Premier League experience, 14 games, 1 goal. So like I say, he's playing in the top tiers, and he joins us for £28 million. So tactically over the summer, we have assembled a quality team with Conecci in goal, Udogie, Ibanez, Skriniar and Aarons at the back, with Phillips in that holding role, Cristante and Pellegrini in the middle, Zalewski and Dybala out wide, and Abraham out front. That starting 11 is incredible, and I'm hopeful that this will be the team that just steamrolls all the competitions that we're in. Yes, it's going to be a big ask in the Champions League, but, you know, that starting 11, if they can stay fit, they will cause some trouble. So speaking of the competitions-wise, and obviously the Serie A, the Champions League, the Italian Cup, and we've got the Italian Super Cup where we'll take on Juventus in January. What is the expectation this season now? So looking at the season preview, we're expected to win the league this season. That is the big thing. We've gone from 4th last season to 1st. We've got 1 player in the Media Dream 11, that's Skriniar, and there's plenty of movement with managers as well, as Pochettino has gone to Inter Milan, and Lopetegui has gone from Wolves to Fiorentina. So yeah, plenty of management movement as well. What is the biggest transfer fee of the summer? Ademola Lookman has gone from Atalanta to Manchester City. Any good? He's okay. How much did they spend on him? £47 million is a lot of money. However, Manchester City have just got that blank cheque really, haven't they? So given we are the favourites, then what is the expectation from the board this season? So it's just to qualify for the Champions League this season. That is it. To challenge for the Italian Cup and be competitive in the Super Cup. What about the supporters? They expect us to win the league, challenge for the Serie A title and finish above Lazio. So, you know, they want us to challenge again. That will be free on the bounce. That's where we need to be. We just need to be dominating the Serie A and doing our bits in Europe. So that's what we're going to do then. Hopefully, we are going to get to the end of season 3 and have won that Serie A crown for 3 years on the bounce. So, fingers crossed. Let's go. Right, so that is it then, guys. Season 3 is over and we have won the Serie A once again. 3 points clear of AC Milan this time, and Atalanta who finish in 3rd place. But we've won this league 3 times on the bounce. We have dominated, and when we look at the league table, 24 wins, 9 draws, 5 defeats, 62 goals scored, 20 conceded, plus 42 goal difference, 81 points on the board. We actually lost 2 of our last 3 games as well by the look of that. But AC Milan, they lost on the final game of the season. They could have ended up on the exact same points as us and potentially beaten us on goal difference there. So we've just about got away with it. And when we look at the past positions, we've been in top spot since match day 23. Have AC Milan just been challenging us? Yeah, it's been a 2-horse race for the majority of the season. When we look at the competitions then, we've got a treble again. So we've won the Italian Cup with a 2-2 draw, but a penalty victory against Napoli. We had 21 shots, 8 on target. They had 17 and 5. And it was Sabitzer and Rossi who missed for them. And then Potence missed for us, but it doesn't matter. We end up taking it anyway. And then we win the Italian Super Cup with a 3-0 victory over Juventus. So they had Luca Pellegrini sent off for a second yellow card on 70 minutes. But goals from Abraham Tete and Pellegrini. Tete actually joined us a couple of seasons ago. I don't even think I mentioned this guy because he joined us halfway through the season. Yeah, he played 16 games last season and 16 this season. We got him on a free transfer and he's now valued up to £39 million. Like I say, we got him as he was released from Shakhtar Donetsk in January of last year. So what has winning another treble done to our finances? So it's given us £46 million to play with next season. Our overall balance is £33.8 million. Wage budget's looking healthy. We've got a £2.7 million wage budget and we're currently spending 2.3. And debt and loans are down to £135 million and our transfer debt is now down to £1.3 million. And what did the board think of it all? And so I got a B. To summarise, the board are very pleased with your overall leadership of the team. Last season's success remains fresh in our memories, and our appraisal of your current performance takes that fully into account. I'm surprised you didn't get an A+ there. Yeah, Champions League, we could have done a little bit better. Obviously, we went crashing out of the Champions League. But yeah, supporters-wise, we got a B as well. Supporters are very pleased with the job that we're doing. And then looking at the player stats, then Tammy Abraham got 39 goals this season. Is our top goal scorer again for this year? It is with 31. Immobile with 26 and Victor Osimhen with 25. So Tammy Abraham, I think he's got the golden boot in all 3 seasons. He also had the highest average rating at a 7.35. Most assists was Pellegrini with 10. Best pass completion was Mancini with 92%. Most player of the match awards was Abraham with 10. Most yellow cards was Calvin Phillips with 19. And plenty of players there getting red cards. And then when we look at the team stats, so team stats wise then, we scored 62 goals, which is the 6th best. Conceded 20, which is the best. That's 62 goals conceded this season. Extremely low. Yellow cards wise, 89, which is the 5th worst. 3 red cards, which is the 5th worst. And we had the best attendance this season at nearly 63,000. So there we go. And then when we look at the job history, yeah, we've done trebles back to back. The first season then, we ended up winning the Italian Cup and the Serie A. The second season was the Super Cup, the Italian Cup and the Serie A. And then the third season was the same again. Yes, we didn't do it in Europe. We had an opportunity in the Europa League in that first season, but yeah, we just blew it. Blew it against Real Betis. But then we brought in 12 players for a total of £99 million. We sold 22 for £71 million. The highest fee spent was £32.5 million for Calvin Phillips. That was last season. And the highest fee received was £16 million for Ola Solbakken. How did he do when he left us to go to Atalanta? So he made 7 starts, 10 in all competitions. So yeah, £16 million to play 10 times. Poor business, that. So that is it then, guys. Dominating Serie A, but not doing a lot in Europe. I think that's the summary for this rebuild. So give it a go. The save will be available down in the description. See if you can win the Champions League next season or the season after. You know, maybe it's just because I'm simming, but we haven't been able to win the league. If I was to give it a go and play through myself, maybe we've got a team good enough to dominate in Europe as well. But that has not been the case, unfortunately, over these 3 seasons. But like I've just said, we have dominated the domestic league and cup competitions, and that is the main thing. We have gone away with some silverware. So yes, if you are new to the channel, like I said at the start of the video, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. And also don't forget to vote on the next team you'd like to see rebuilt. That will be available on my community tab. But as always, thank you for watching, stay safe, and I will catch you later. Ta-ra.